Hello. This is Peter, and I was pointing the wrong side. This is me going through the Blender file of my most recent character animation. Let's get to it, okay? So, this animation you guys can see here. You can find it on my Instagram, you can find it on my art station, you know how it goes. Let's go step by step. First of all, the first thing I did were the boots here. This round cube box model subdivided, just like, I don't even know how this was done, but I don't remember at this point. Probably just box model, stretched cube with a bunch of insets and with a bunch of inside extrusions, then reflected. And this is actually pretty interesting because these laces were done with an asset. These are the only asset in the whole entire project. This laces. I found just a laces generator online. I think it was Blender Market if I'm not wrong. So there you go. Those were the laces. And then we keep going on to the pants. The only thing on the pants are the pants. I made cubes, I subdivided them. Then after applying a layer of subdivision, I went into sculpt mode, and by grabbing the cloth, I just moved it a little bit down, a little bit up until it finally matched what I wanted. It's a very simple model. Then I applied the first layer of subdivision and made sure to get these faces. I did this and then F3 checker deselect, so like I could only check the ones that I wanted. And by doing that, I was able to extrude them and move them a little bit. So there's this bumps in the border, which I think looks a little bit extra realistic. Regarding the material, it's just a little normal noise texture in the bottom and a little inconsistency in the roughness, so it looks a little more interesting, a little more realistic. It's pretty much the same thing with the boots, especially with the soles in this case. The roughness is a little harder because, you know, you walk on the boots, so it would just make sense. Then we go to a t-shirt. The t-shirt in this case is just cube. Let's focus on it. It's cube, then to the sides, extrusions, application, perfect. You can see that in the rigging, it bends a little weird, but that's okay. It really doesn't matter. It has a subdivision at the end of the modifier thing, so it looks okay. Looks perfect. Looks good for a 1A. So it has solidify here because it's infinitely thin, but with the solidify it makes a little more sense. Perfect. Then we go into the jacket, which is a very similar process than with the shirt. In this case, it was, if we go into the rig and we put it in the rest position, it was modeled with a subdivided cube, subdivided, then we separate here and just extrusion. The same thing with the collar. It's just the top part of the cube moved to the outsides and extruded. These seams, I tried to simulate what real seams on an actual jacket like this would look like. It was a little hard. It actually made it more complicated for when I wanted to do the texture, but that's okay because the texture here is actually hand painted. It's a .psd file, so I just painted it on the unwrapping. As you can see, the unwrapping is here, and this is the texture. It's nothing too complicated here. Then we go on to the arms. In this case, the arms, I only needed the last part of the arms. They are actually a little too long because I was debating if I should include the jacket or not, but once I chose in this face style, for the face, I realized that the jacket actually looked really good, so I decided on going for the jacket. But I could have actually gone with the shirt and like put a graphic on it or something and it would have been fine. So those are the arms. Very simple, the same process. It's actually pretty much always the same process of grabbing a cube, subdividing it, insetting, extruding, and that's how we got our arms. Head, eyebrows, let's see. Wow, planes that are projected onto the face through a shrink wrap solidify subdivision. Super simple. If we hide the camera first of all, if you go here, edit mode, you see it's just a plane, nothing elevated. Eyelid, the eyelid in this case was originally a curve. I did Shift A, curve, path, and I went to edit mode, deleted the path, and then just drew on the surface, and then just went here, gave it some beveling, and grabbed the points I wanted to make smaller, and used Alt S to make them small. So yeah, that's how that part was done. The eyelids just made around and duplicated it. Hair base, actually this is something that you end up not seeing in the final render, so we could actually ignore that. The head is actually a very interesting process because it's the first time I do something like this, and I know I wanted to focus on a very stylized face. I tried a couple of things. As you can see, the face only goes up until down here. It goes until down there because actually nothing else is necessary if it's not going to be seen. It's a sphere. Moved here is for it to look like a school. Grab modifier to pull down, pull up. To get these eye holes, eye sockets. I see that most people, according to the tutorial say so, actually like sculpted them in, but what I decided to do was I went into sculpt mode, and using the mask brush, I selected one I wanted to mask. Well, I guess in this case, oh yeah, there you go. Or not. Well, okay. I used the mask brush, and then I used the mesh filter, which pushes it all out or in. There you go. So that's how it works. Let me clear the mask real quick in case I want to use this file for something else and I get confused. Clear mask. There you go. And then mesh filter. There you go. Perfect. So that's how the head was done. The hair, which is retopologized. Originally, it was a bunch of cubes. Subdivided once again because it's a beautiful process. Subdividing cubes. Subdivided the cubes. Then joined them all. Went into sculpt mode. Remesh 0.01 or 0.001. Something like that, just so I could like smooth the transitions between the hairs, and use in this case I use a snake hook to kind of like move them a little bit so the silhouette in the front looked good and the silhouette in the side looked good. That's what mattered the most to me. Then at 45 degrees, it's actually not bad, but because I fixed it a little, but it's the same thing from the other side. Like you see, like it's not as good. Like this spikes here, like it's okay, but who is actually going to go that much in detail? So yeah, a bunch of cubes subdivided and then joined and then remeshed and then retopologized. Perfect. Then we go into the details. We have this chain, which is a detail that I'm pretty sure very few people are going to recognize because like it's not actually very big or very noticeable, but I wanted to add more details that were on brand. So I actually grabbed a node tree that I had from my bracelet project, and I put my characters on the curve once again, just made the curve in a different path and added these little rings so they just got into the loops of the pants and it looks like they're hanging on them. I was debating if I should make it silver, if I should make it metallic like that. I wasn't really convinced by it. I thought the reflections would just like make it confusing, because if you make it very metallic like that, you can see like it just makes it harder to identify what's going on. Maybe not with the ears that much. Maybe that would have looked cool. It's okay. I decided to just make it white to look something like resin print or something like that, which is a way I've done my stuff recently. So yeah, earrings, the same earrings I used in my earring project. And then the rings, I thought about using my own rings, my own PETA rings that you can see in my posts before, but I decided on not doing that just because I think it would be too much. And I don't know, maybe the detail would be too small for it to even be noticeable. So I put them in this hand because if this chain is here, and I was going to use rings, I was going to put them here just so there could be a little balance on the composition. Then we go on to the camera. The camera is so simple, parented to an empty. The empty goes around, and this empty actually has the rim connected to it, which has a little bit of a warmer tone, just so we can get like this a little bit extra interesting highlights and, well, rim, as the rim light says, because I wanted it to look a little more yellow, because the yellow is this thing I'm trying to like make more part of my brand. That's the same reason the jacket here is yellow, because even though the texture is black and white, I filtered it through a black and yellow mixed color node. So that's it. But that's the only light that is actually parented to the empty, because this fill light is there, as well as this key light, which are the only two lights hitting the environment and the body, but the eyes. Why? Because the eyes are going through light linking. Why is this? Okay. So there was a problem where this light, the key light, was reflecting on this eye, and I didn't like how it looked at all. You might be saying, but there's a reflection here. That reflection is there because I created these two lights, sub key lights or whatever you want to call them, that actually light only and exclusively the eyes, and I think the scene too, but that's secondary. Like this is just a beveled plane, just so there could be stuff in it, including my character in this case. So yeah. If we go here to light linking, you can see how these two lights have the no light collection, which includes, well, the scene because of this, and the eyes. And this one has the light collection, which includes just the rest of the stuff, the rest of the body. The key light, the fill light, and the rim light have that one. So those are the three lights, the two main lights and the rim light. That's the scene, and this is the rig. The rig, super honest here, I had such a hard time with the rig. How was this rig done? I downloaded the Auto Rig Pro. Magic, did magic. You go into smart, you put the points where you want to put them, and then you just go into skin, voxel heat diffuse skinning add-on. Beautiful. It works so good. I did have to do some refining by going into the specific part and doing weight painting and having to go through all the vertex groups and seeing how they affected each part of the meshes, but it's okay. Especially this jacket, which, like you can see, has some bending or some parts where it doesn't move. This was the best version I could get from all of the ways I tried to rig it, so I'm more than satisfied and more than happy with the result. Now, the animation actually done following a tutorial by Doodly, which is the best tutorial ever. That guy is wonderful. You should go check Doodly's channel. Beautiful. I went through all the parts of his walk cycle tutorial, including the foot sliding up, the foot sliding back, then the foot going up, then the hands and the shoulders, IK, FK, head bobbing, headlock, shoulders, roll, beautiful tutorial. Even the waist bopping up and down, beautiful. And I was able to do all of that because look at this. Because this incredible rig allows me to grab the arms, for example, and make them IK or FK. In this case, it's FK because like this is forward to this and this. So in this case, I want them FK so they make the curves, so they make the sweeps. But originally it was IK, and I was so frustrated because I was like, damn, how am I going to do this? To realize this was a thing. Then you go into the head, and there's the headlock thing where you can make it so the head doesn't follow the shoulders or the upper body's movement. I actually decided on it to follow it. I just felt like it was a little more expressive. But yeah, that was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tutorial. This was rendered in 512 samples, denoised, no threshold 0.02, age punchy, nothing moved in the exposure, nothing moved in the gamma. And then I just took it into After Effects, gave it some glow, gave it some noise, gave it a little bit of color balance, just a little bit of saturation, a little bit of vignette, the basics. I really didn't tweak that much. I made the lights a little darker so the background didn't pop as much and there was a little more contrast with the character, but really nothing that is not logical. And then the sound is just, I just found it in this library called Soundly. You just go into Soundly and you can look up literally any sound ever. I just looked up steps and I found one of these. I don't even remember. I think it was this one, probably. I'm not sure. I grabbed that and I just gave it some reverb, gave it some, changed the speed so it matched the footsteps, and that's it. That's how this animation was done. I think I went through everything. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, feel super free to write them because I'm excited to read everything each of you have to say. I want to keep doing characters. I want to keep doing 3D creations. I want to keep doing beautiful stuff. So stay tuned and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.